Dakota Johnson sat in the dim yellow glow of her kitchen, rain pelting the windows outside like 1,000 whispered regrets. She cradled a mug of herbal tea between her hands, watching the steam curl into the air. It was nearly midnight, but sleep felt impossibly distant. In her chest she harbored a confession she'd rehearsed 10,000 times, yet each rehearsal only stirred more pain. She thought back to the first time she'd seen him, Sam Heughan. His laugh, bright and ringing, had shattered something inside her, something she had guarded for so long. She remembered Caitriona, too, Caitriona Balfe, her smile, hers and Sam's laughter together, long arms linked, warmth between them. She could still see the sparks when they looked at one another, those unspoken words traveling between them in glances. That was the beginning of the torment, though she hadn't known it then. Dakota had always known her heart could ache. She'd loved before, lost before. But this was different. It felt like a confession already, even if nothing had yet been said. It began at an industry gathering. Lights bright, camera flashes, polite conversation. Dakota came to support a friend. She wore a simple black dress, hair pulled back, calm in her demeanor. She wanted nothing more than to fade into the background. Then, Sam entered the room. He moved with ease, friendly, open. He greeted Caitriona, a hug, a laugh, an exchange of warmth and familiarity. Watching him, Dakota felt something she could not name, something heavy, intrusive, sorrowful. They stood together, exchanged jokes. Caitriona's eyes gleamed. Sam's hand touched hers in a way that told stories before words. And Dakota, standing 3 steps away, felt the distance like a wound. She finished her drink, made a polite exit. But that image stayed. The laughter, the gentle touch, the way they looked at each other, as though the rest of the room vanished. Over the following days, the memory of that moment invaded every quiet hour. Dakota caught herself comparing how Sam laughed with Caitriona, how he listened, how she watched others, unwillingly, how she measured distance, not her own presence, but what she didn't have. Sometimes, she told herself it was silly, an actress entertaining jealousy, a heart refusing to accept her insignificance. But it was more than jealousy. It was a longing for something she believed was impossible, to be the person he turned toward, rather than the one who turned away. She started seeking him out, on red carpets, industry events, interviews. Sometimes she managed brief conversation, laughs, small talk. But always, she left with a hollow ache. Every time she saw him with Caitriona, she felt her chest tighten, as though she were bearing weight no one else could see. Late at night, every night, she shaped confessions in her mind. I wish you couldn't stop thinking of her. I wish you thought of me. But she dared not say them. The fear was huge. Fear of rejection, fear of making things uncomfortable, fear of losing whatever little closeness she had. One evening, after a film premiere, Dakota found herself backstage, under harsh fluorescent lights, shadows long on the walls. Sam was there, having just given an interview. Caitriona had slipped away earlier, off to greet fans. Sam paused where Dakota stood. He smiled, tired, but genuine. "Hey," he said, "good to see you." Dakota's heart caught. She managed small talk, about the film, the crowd, but under it all, there was a cry she could no longer ignore. she said, voice low and trembling. Sam, can I say something personal? He nodded. I know this might sound strange. I know you and Caitriona. She paused, fought down tears. I can't stop seeing how you look at her. And I can't stop thinking that maybe, in some place, you might look at me the same way. Silence stretched between them. Sam's expression softened. His eyes were kind, but something guarded. Dakota, he said gently, I care about you. Of course I do. You're important to me. Her heart fluttered with hope and terror both. But, he continued, I love Caitriona. She is, and has been, my partner, in every sense that matters. The words hit her like ice. Not because she didn't know, but because hearing them, seeing them spoken, made everything painfully raw. She breathed, trying to steady. I know, she whispered. I always knew, and I'm not asking for you to change that. I just couldn't keep pretending I could feel nothing. Because every time I'm near you, I feel everything. Sam's eyes shone with regret, with compassion. He reached out, as if to cover her hand, but hesitated. Social constraints, moral lines, loyalty, they were all invisible walls between them. I wish I could promise you something more, he said. You deserve someone who looks at you like that. Someone who doesn't already love someone else. Dakota nodded. Tears finally broke free. She didn't hate him. Perhaps what hurt most was loving someone whose heart belonged elsewhere but still hoped for a place, however small, in his world. Sam stayed silent. Finally, Dakota straightened her shoulders. I just needed you to know. Not for anything to change, for me to stop hiding. For me to stop carrying this alone. They parted then. Sam gently withdrew, leaving Dakota alone in the backstage corridor, the cheery hubbub of the premiere beyond the curtain but a long way off from where she stood. The days after her confession were heavy. She avoided seeing him, because every glance would reopen the wound. She replayed their conversation in her head, his kindness, the sorrow in his eyes, the steadiness of his love for Caitriona. Sometimes, she cried. Sometimes, she laughed, trying to convince herself she was okay. Her friends asked, what's wrong? She lied, or half-lied. Just tired, she said. Just complicated. She threw herself into work, roles, script meetings, travel. Yet the ache followed, even in motion. At night, she trained her mind to think of anything else, tall trees, ocean waves, careless songs. But Sam's image, his laughter with Caitriona, kept coming back. Weeks later, Dakota found herself at a charity gala, a cause she supported. By chance, Sam was there too, accompanied, as always, by Caitriona. They looked as though they belonged together. It hurt to see, but also, in a strange way, it comforted her that his heart had found peace. During one silent moment, she was in the garden, stepping stones beneath her feet, fountains whispering, lanterns glowing. Sam followed, eyes searching. You came, he said, voice soft. I did, she answered. For the cause. And Because it was expected. He smiled sadly. I owe you more than just kindness. She shook her head. Don't. You owe me nothing. You have given me more than you know, just by being honest. They stood there, distance still between them, but something had shifted. No pretenses, no performance of joy, no hiding of grief. Sam took a breath. I hope someday you find someone who sees you the way you deserve. And I hope you always know how deeply you touched someone you never fully chose, she said. That night, as she drove home in silence, the city lights blurring past the window, she felt a contradiction, sorrow and release mingling. She had bared her truth. She had named the longing. And though she did not get what her heart wished, she gained something, an unburdened heart. Over the following months, Dakota's life turned outward. She found solace in art, painting, writing, roles that stretched her. She met new people. Some small joys came, sunlight through trees, a laugh that came without remembering, the taste of tea that felt like a balm. Still, Sam and Caitriona were present in her life, in interviews, award shows, occasional overlap. But their presence no longer cut as sharply. Once, at a film set late in the evening, she caught her reflection, hair mussed, face tired, but eyes something quieter than longing. For the first time, she felt something like peace. She realized that loving someone deeply didn't require possession, that love could mean embracing someone's happiness even if you weren't the one giving it. She wrote a letter one night, very late, though she never sent it. Dear Sam, I write this not to ask anything more of you, nor to stir what has settled between us. I write because I needed to carry my truth, what I saw, what I felt, what I will always feel. I needed to let it rest in ink, rather than in a silent heart. When I saw how you looked at Caitriona, how she lit something in you, how hard it was for me, watching, wanting, hoping, I realized something about love. It doesn't always align with what we wish. Sometimes it lives somewhere unshared. Sometimes it lives in the quiet moments of knowing we are not the one chosen. I forgive myself for wanting more. I forgive you for being who you are. And I forgive what never was. I hope your happiness always runs ahead of your sorrow. I hope you both shine bright. And I hope that I, too, eventually shine. Always, Dakota ideographic period. She folded the paper and left it in a drawer, where it stayed, unsent, unread. Perhaps it was enough that it existed, her confession, her release, her love acknowledged and then set free. The pain had been real. The longing had been real. But even more real was the courage it took, to feel, to name, to accept. Dakota's confession was not about winning someone's heart. It was about unveiling her own, the fragile, tender, beautiful heart that loved even when love could not be returned. And in that truth, there was healing.